Texans and Ravens. Baltimore 9.5-point favorites at home up at M&T Bank Stadium. CJ Stroud and company coming off their ginormous win on Wild Card Weekend. But the Ravens have been the ultimate buzzsaw all year long. They have destroyed essentially all comers. I will say this Texans team does not care. They are young. They are scrappy. They are fearless. I also think they're not good enough. Give me the Baltimore Ravens, especially at home.
Yeah, I'm definitely going with the Ravens as well. Even though they will be without Marlon Humphrey, he's a key piece in the back end of their defense. But I still just think they have just too much Lamar. The defense is as stout as any defense in the league.
Their defense is pretty fascinating to me. Like, obviously McDonald's a great coordinator, and it's why he's getting looked at for head coach jobs around the NFL right now. But I think the thing that's, I don't know, cool, whatever the word is about their defense is the linebacker position's been devalued, right? And part of the reason it's been devalued is not because it's actually not important. It's because playing linebacker in the NFL is so freaking hard that almost nobody does it well. So you're better off trying to get great corners, great safeties, great defensive front players, and hoping you kind of get lucky, a la the Colts with Zaire Franklin at linebacker, and Z's obviously a game changer for them. But like scouting him, nightmare. Which is why he's, why his draft position was what it was, right? In hindsight, Z's a first or second round pick at absolute worst. But if you're like redoing that draft, but realistically, the production and the stuff you need from linebackers is easier to find, and to really excel at that position like a Fred Warner or a Roquan Smith or a Patrick Queen is extremely difficult. And what the Ravens did was go, that's great. We know that if we get it right, that it's the ultimate game changer. I mean, it's no mistake that the defenses that are thriving, that are left in this playoffs, have great linebacker play. Queen and Roquan in Baltimore, Warner and Greenlaw in San Francisco. You look at what the Lions did in drafting Jack Campbell, overdrafted, but like they knew if he's the right guy, he can make everyone around him better. And so I think that it was a cool embrace, and they were very smart with who they targeted, unlike what Washington did when they drafted Jameis in the first round years ago and just kind of fell in love with the physical talent. And that has made them what they are defensively. So how does that match up with CJ Stroud? We'll see. That Texans running game, we'll see. Can Slowick manipulate those guys? We'll see. But ultimately, I think Baltimore probably is going to take this thing home.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree for everything you just said.
Do you think they cover?
The Texans? I think it's a playoff game, man. I don't know. I feel as though every team or majority of the teams that the Ravens have played, they've dominated. So I could definitely see them going out there. I think they do.
I
think the Ravens. I like the Ravens covering.
Yeah, I could see them pulling away at the end. I think this will be a close game for a little bit. I don't know if this is a blowout from go, but I do think eventually the Ravens pull away. I think the night game, both number one seeds playing on Saturday, that game is 4:30 on ESPN, ABC, and ESPN+. 8:15 Saturday night on Fox. You got Packers and 49ers. I think this one could get ugly early. I think San Francisco wins in not in a landslide, but like I think San Francisco wins scoring 35-plus points. The weather is not going to be a factor here. It's going to be partly cloudy and 62 degrees in San Francisco. And I think that, like, I know they were up by a lot, and you don't want to read too much into, hey, they were up by a lot, defensively for the Packers, then they gave up a ton of points. But they did ultimately give up a lot of stuff last week to Dallas. It took Dallas a long time to get going, but I feel like that had a lot more to do with Dallas than it did Green Bay. I think the San Francisco offense can put up a lot of points on this Packers defense. The Packers offense is good, but they will have a better plan than Dallas did, and they are better built to defend it. They have more stars and playmakers all over the place. The pass rush is probably better suited to go up against this Green Bay offense. And obviously, Kyle knows this offense really well, as does Steve Wilks, going against it in practice every day. So it's very similar, obviously, what they do in Green Bay and San Francisco. So I just think San Francisco's got way too much talent, and I think Joe Barry's defense is going to be the demise of the Green Bay Packers. Great run, proud of their season, dangerous team moving forward. Not winning this one, in my humble opinion.
I agree with you. I think the success that the Green Bay Packers had on the ground last week against Dallas was due to Dallas's lack thereof of linebacker play. That we were just talking about, with the Roquans and the Patrick Queens of the world. You have to, in the playoffs, and we were talking to Z about it yesterday, you have to be able to, stop the run. And I think the 49ers, they have what it takes. And having a guy like Fred Warner also makes it a lot easier on the defense as a whole. And I think the Packers can really only get off if they establish the run and allow that to be able to set up the pass. And I think they're just going to have so much trouble getting the run going. So I could see this one also getting out of hand, but I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be close early, and then I think the 49ers will be able to pull away because Packers will have to drop back, and I don't think that's their forte.
Yeah, I mean, good luck also running it in the way that, like, Dallas was pretty easy to run on. San Francisco, not so much.
Pro Bowl. They have too many Pro Bowlers also on the defensive front. Because Javon, I think he's a Pro Bowler, and then you got Nick Bosa. They just have so much talent.
And their linebackers are fast and murder you.
Yep.
Like, Aaron Jones going to get smacked a couple times. He'll get back up, and he'll deliver a blow, too. Yeah. Aaron Jones is a really good football player, but if they have Dylan this week, that would be very helpful to have kind of the ability to rotate those guys. Dylan a bit more of a bruiser, but I think the game flow thing that you said is correct as well. How many games has Jordan Love had been 16 of 19 with 3 touchdown passes and 300 yards? A lot. They don't want to pass the ball 30 times. It's not how they win. All right, Sunday, 3 p.m., Buccaneers, Lions in Detroit. Lions favored by 6.5. A lot of smack talk back and forth this week. C.J. Gardner-Johnson not knowing who the Bucs receivers are. Baker Mayfield saying, hey, dude, you might want to watch some more tape. That dude doesn't play for us anymore. But by and large, I do think the Detroit Lions are a better team. They already beat them once this year. And as Tim Twentyman joined us earlier from Detroit and reminded us, they did that without a lot of their best players. Goff, unbelievable year, 4,500 yards, 30 touchdowns, 12 picks. I mean, they just have so many weapons and they know how to use them. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, Reynolds was awesome last week. They just have too many guys, and their offensive line is great. I think the Bucs' defensive line presents a really interesting challenge, but I think at the end of the day, like, Detroit will be able to find a way, even if it takes them a second, to pull away and set up what I think will be an epic showdown between them and the 49ers on championship weekend.
This one, I'm torn. Part of me really wants to see the Buccaneers go out here and win. I think obviously they're the Cinderella of everybody that's left remaining in the playoffs right now. They're definitely being overlooked by everybody. They're coming in as the underdogs in most of these situations.
Redemption for the NFC South, says Anthony.
Can they do it? I don't think they can. I would love for them to go out there and win. But I just think it's going to be too much Goff, too much Amon-Ra, too much Jahmyr Gibbs. I just think what the Lions have on the offensive side of the ball is just going to be too much to withstand from Todd Bowles and the Tampa Bay Bucs. Even though they did get home a lot last week against Jalen Hurts, I just think Ben Johnson, he's going to be able to draw stuff up to get the ball out of Jared Goff's hand, and that's what he's done all season. So I think just too much offense for the Bucs. Too much offense.
Yeah, I think Laporta's big in this game because, Tampa does have some good corners, et cetera. But I do think that, can you get the matchup nightmare in Laporta going, then you have to dedicate extra resources to him, then your run game gets going, like manipulation of how Tampa deploys their safeties. Now, they have some of the best safeties in the league, specifically Antoine Winfield Jr. So it's an interesting matchup. Tampa can win this game. Like, don't get it twisted. Tampa, at their best, is really dangerous. But But I think this is like there's a couple factors here. Detroit does have both coordinators interviewing, and sometimes some people in the league think sometimes that gets in the way. Like, is your attention split? Is Ben Johnson's attention split? Is Aaron Glenn's attention split? And I think this is a huge game for Aaron Glenn. Like, can you heat up Baker? Can you generate some turnovers? Do you have an answer for Mike Evans? Cade Otton's a pretty talented tight end. So there are questions to be answered, but also Baker's been on a heater, and is it Baker going to continue the heater, or is Baker going to come back crashing down with a law of averages game and Detroit wins this by 20? I think every possibility is pretty much on the table. Atmosphere, by the way, is going to be electric. Not that I think Tampa's mature enough to handle it, but that is going to be a fun game to watch on Sunday afternoon. And then the nightcap, Chiefs and Bills, because of course it's Chiefs and Bills. This time the Bengals aren't waiting somewhere in the wings, as has been the case for seemingly the last 5 years. Some combination of those three teams. But the Chiefs coming off a game, I mean, these two teams both coming off frigid cold games. It's going to be cold again. This time a balmy 20 degrees in Orchard Park, but it's a 6:30 kickoff, so it's probably going to get colder there in Western New York as the game goes. And, this game might really just come down to, like, which receiving group catches the ball better. And, sometimes it's the fundamentals, the blocking, the tackling, the throwing, and the catching, Anthony. And if Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce and, Kadarius Toney and whoever else it's getting footballs from Patrick Mahomes can just catch the freaking thing, Chiefs got a chance. Same thing on the other side. Bills have had problems at times this year catching the ball from Josh Allen, although not lately as they've been on a tear down the stretch. I think the other interesting thing matchup-wise, Bills are without Gabe Davis. He was ruled out. He's their big X receiver. He takes care of a lot of dirty work and is obviously a huge big play threat. Is his absence enough with how good the Chiefs defense is to turn this game back in Kansas City's favor on the road?
I was literally just looking at that. You have Stephon Diggs, of course. You have your two tight ends, Dawson Knox, Dalton Kincaid. And then you have Shakir. Is that your second best receiver? Is that who you're leaning on?
I mean, they're going to lean on Josh Allen, his legs, and the fact that he can make anyone serviceable. But yeah, that's kind of what you're looking at. Khalil Shakir, Trent Sherfield, Deontay Hardy, who's obviously phenomenal punt returner. But I think they'll probably get into tight end looks a lot. Like they'll say, hey, it's Diggs,
I think it's Cook.
I think
he's going to be the X factor in this game. And the last time these two teams played, he went off. He was very useful out of the backfield. And then also, I think as of late, we've been seeing a lot more James Cook. And I think Josh Allen and, McDermott, they've understood that, yes, you have Josh Allen, but you're going to be even stronger if you have a run game. And I think lately they've been utilizing James Cook. And he's, he showed up and he's produced. So I think if they can establish him early and often, get him some touches, I think that'll bode well. But I think definitely.
But that's tough because, good luck running at Chris Jones, bro.
Good luck running at him, Nick Bolton. They're stout on the defensive side for the Chiefs. So
and they're
it's
overall
50-50,
pretty
man.
healthy.
It's 50-50.
Derek Nottie, their defensive tackle, is out. The guy who plays opposite of Chris Jones inside. But other than that, they're pretty healthy. Taylor Rapp is also out for Buffalo. I think Kansas City gets in a lot of two tight end stuff too, and it's like, okay, you're without one of your third safety who's really important for them, kind of a Buffalo nickel kind of role. So, you get Pacheco out there with Rice and Watson, and then two tight ends, Kelce, Noah Gray, and you go from there, and you can run out of that, you can pass out of that. Like, there's a lot of different options, and, Pacheco, Edwards-Helaire, these guys have been there, done that in the playoffs, and I think you're going to see a more run-heavy Kansas City team and then try to hit some stuff off of play action. And without Matt Milano, without Rapp, some of their guys, I think this is a really, that's the plan. That's the way forward for Kansas City. The problem is Josh Allen is playing out of his mind. And I kind of feel like this is the year that Buffalo finally does it. The vibes have been just slightly off in Kansas City all year. They've never quite gotten the offensive thing figured out. I'm still not convinced that they did last week, even though they put up some points against Miami. I think that had a lot to do with Miami. And Buffalo's at home. I hate this. I hate picking against the Chiefs, bro.
It is 50-50, Craig.
I
50.
Every fiber of my being hates picking against the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm picking against the guy who's better at playing quarterback than anyone I've ever seen play quarterback. And that's not me saying he's the best ever, but he's legitimately on the way. I think if he wins this game, he has more playoff wins before 30 than Brady did. Patrick Mahomes, I don't think, is 29 years old. I don't think this is his last shot before he turns 30. Let me double check that real quick. But Patrick Mahomes is 28. He'll be 29 in next year's playoffs. And if he wins this year or this game, he's got more playoff wins than Brady did before 30. This dude is the best guy I've ever seen play quarterback. And picking against him feels stupid every time, especially in the playoffs. But I'm going to pick the Buffalo Bills.
You're picking the Bills. I'm torn too, Craig. I'm torn too. I don't even think it's necessarily going to come down to Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes. I think Patrick Mahomes, a lot of the Chiefs' wins have come down.
I already want to change my pick.
Ooh, already? Nah, don't come over here now, because guess what, Craig? I'm going with the Chiefs. I was going to go opposite wherever you were going. I'm going with the Chiefs. And I just think, again, they were literally a Kadarius Toney toe away from beating the Bills earlier this season.
That's also in my mind as that game was at Arrowhead. This one's at Buffalo. And I could play the psychology both ways, right? I could say, hey, the Chiefs want to prove that was a stupid call and a stupid fluke, and actually they're the better team. But I could say, hey, the Bills. If I'm Sean McDermott, I'm in that locker room, and be like, you know what Andy Reid's over there saying right now? You know what Travis Kelce's over there saying right now? Hey, we won that last game. They made a dumb call against us. Look, today we're gonna prove that we're better. And you wanna know what? Here's the sad thing that they don't know yet, but they're about to find out. We're better. Let's go prove it. Ah!
Is that how you would break?
Out there. Well, no, I had to become. I was an actor. I had to become the rest of the team all in one person.
Yeah.
But that would be my pregame message. It's they think they got screwed. Let's show them we're just straight up better. And so you can play that game both ways. But I'm gonna go Buffalo, even though every fiber of my being is telling me to switch the pick and go to the Chiefs.
I picked against Mahomes last week, and I always tell myself never pick against Mahomes. I'm not doing it this week.
Same. But if there's one guy who's good, Mahomes is more consistent. But the one dude who can actually maybe do some stuff that Patrick doesn't is Allen.
Yep.
And we'll see. He seems like he's on a mission this latter half of the season.
What's up, kiddos? It's your boy Clinton Yates from ESPN. It's the Hoffman Show on the Team 980. Tell your mama I said what's up.